Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm actually going to be lifting the rear. I have the 08 leaf springs in the back suspension, but it doesn't have any blocks since it was two-wheel drive. So what I do is I have a Super Duty block. It's roughly 4 inches. So I'm hoping that haven't leveled it front and back, but I figured somewhat about a 4-inch lift in the front. Put this in the back. That should be my 4-inch in the back. Then we'll see how it gets us as far as the ride height. But front end is all together. I got my brackets. Boy, it's dark. Got my brackets on the frame, track bar. Everything's bolted up, Loctited. The only thing I'm going to be waiting for is I have to go to a hydraulic hose place to get some hydraulic hoses made from my power steering box to my Hydro Boost and then to the power steering pump. And as soon as I get that should finish up the power steering. I'm waiting for flexible brake lines to run from my master cylinder down to the proportioning valve, and that will finish up the brake system. But in the meantime, I'm going to pull the back wheels, undo the U-bolts, drop the axle, put those blocks in, and put my new U-bolts in there, and hopefully that gets me where I need to be. Stay tuned. Do this, but I didn't want my overloads leaf on top because I'm using airbag. I don't have the mounts on my frame, so I took that off, and I have to get a smaller centering pin, so just make sure you get a grade 8 bolt, or I know sometimes you can use like an Allen head if it's grade 8. And then I'm gonna put the bolt in there, torque it back down, put my block in, and go out and do the other side. 4-inch blocks are in. U-bolts are torqued down, plates are on. Next thing I'm going to do is I have the sway bar end links that are for the 4-wheel drive. I'm going to put those on, then reinstall my airbags. Alright, so this is a 1979 frame. The running gear is a 2008 cabin chassis. It's cabin chassis rear end, which is a little bit narrower. The springs, perches are a little bit narrower for the narrow frame. But this is straight bolt up sway bar and links. These two holes, let's see if I can get the light. This one and the one above it, those are factory from '79. They were not drilled. And as you can see, it's perfect. Try to finish up the truck today. I got a couple of power steering lines and a couple of brake lines to run, but it's on its own weight. Got all the wheels bolted up. Looks pretty good. It sits about 3/4 of an inch higher in the front. I'm not too worried because as soon as I put the Cummins in there, it's probably gonna squat the front down and it'll be perfectly level. But overall, I'm really happy the way the truck sits. So stay tuned, and I'm going to get some brake line run, power steering lines, and take it for a test drive. Alright, next up is I have to plumb the power steering cooler. Since it's going to be only temporary until I get the diesel in there. I have this left over, I think it's from like a 6.4 power stroke. Or I have something that I made a long time ago, which is basically, oh, so if I can get it without bending it all up. Basically, just a piece of copper that sits in front of the cross member, right on the cradle. So we'll see how this one fits there. If it fits okay, I'll mount it. If not, I'll just put this back on. Alright, what I did was cut off the tabs, bent them down. A little bit barbaric, but it's only going to be temporary. Then I'll bolt this up to the bottom of the radiator support and run my new lines. Alright guys, power steering is done. That looks like a mess, but it's on its own weight. Moment of truth. Oh yeah, she turns. Alright guys, I use for brake line was this copper nickel. It's a little bit more expensive, but seems to bend pretty good. Front brake lines are run. You can see right there. and the back one's hooked back up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add more fluid and bleed these. Hopefully I can use my power bleeder and do this by myself. If not, I'm going to have to get one of my buddies. Brakes are bled. Power steering works A1. You guys can see I'm about, I don't know, 5'11", 6 foot. And it's almost up to my shoulder. So it's pretty tall. I think for what I'm going to use it for, it'll do just fine. You guys notice yes, it is still 460. Haven't got it swapped over to the Cummins yet, but in future episodes, that's the main goal, is to get this thing running off diesel. Well guys, with the cold weather approaching rather quickly and snow being on the road, Project King Dent is under wraps for now. I do have the motor that I'm going to be picking up from the machine shop, but rear ends all put together. Got the blocks, U-bolts, everything's tightened down. You can see it's pretty dark, but that's a wrap for it until I get the motor in. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, do all the YouTube stuff. Until next time, thank you.